Good evening, everybody. This is the City Council meeting of the City of Bonnie Lake for May 24th, 2022. The first order of business is to stand up and salute the flag. Everybody stand up, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Mayor McCullough.
I'm here.
Deputy Mayor Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Here.
Councilmember Evans.
Here.
Councilmember Fullerton.
Here.
Councilmember McClemens.
Here.
Councilmember Swatman.
Present.
And Councilmember Watson.
Here. Very good, and I believe, even though it says we have no agenda modifications, we actually do have an agenda modification, and that would be to AB 22-64. It's a motion of the City Council of the City of Bonnie Lake, Pierce County, Washington, authorizing the issuance of a request for proposals for the preparation of a park, trails, and open space plan. All in favor of the agenda modification?
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
you have to say what the modification.
Oh, I thought I just did.
You're moving it to.
Oh, yes, we are moving it to a full council discussion. Now, do we have a vote on it?
So moved. Seconded.
And now do we have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so AB 2264 has now been moved down to number 8, full council issue. All right, and now we have a presentation for the 2023 Stormwater Art Calendar Contest winners. I will now hand the floor over to Recreation and Special Events Manager David Wells.
Good evening, everyone. There, can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
Awesome. So this year I had the great privilege of helping out the Public Works Department with their stormwater art contest. A little bit about it. The NPDES is the National Pollution Discharge Elimination System. That one 5 times fast, please. This is a stormwater permit issued by the state of Washington for the protection and restoration of water quality. One of the requirements of the permit is to develop and implement a stormwater management program with the goal to improve water quality in our oceans, lakes, and rivers. The program has multiple components, and one of which is public education and outreach. One of our outreach programs is the Stormwater Art Contest and Calendar Development Program. To help improve water quality and convey stormwater pollution prevention practices, students are invited to create artwork depicting one of the following categories: pollution, illegal dumping, friendly vehicle washing, water conservation, pet waste disposal, used oil recycling, and household hazardous waste disposal. So we received almost 100 entries from students here on the plateau, from Bonnie Lake High School to many of the elementaries and the middle schools. So this was the first year I got to put together a team to have all the votes counted. Nearly 100 applications is a lot to go through. It was very, very tough. So the 12 winners we have tonight, when we received the applications, we didn't know who did them, what school they were from, or what age they were. So this was totally a blind vote. So we'll go on to the winners here. So our first winner also happens to be on our Arts Commission representing the Bonnie Lake High School, is Caitlin Wolford. So Caitlin, where are you? She's a junior at Bonnie Lake High School. The next one is Jada Ship. I didn't see Jada come in. Okay, this one was honestly my personal favorite. I really wanted to see what was going to happen to the car off screen. I don't know, just looked like super fun to me. And then Ava Thomas is a sixth grader from Mountain View Middle School. This awesome piece of artwork. Here's your check. Then we have Sierra Roper. Here's Sierra. And then Latham. And then did Malaya show up? Malaya. Okay. And then, so this is Sophia's artwork. Sophia is at home on quarantine right now. So she's a little bummed that she couldn't get to come out tonight. And then Kaylee. Where's Kaylee? And next we have Priscilla. Awesome turtle here. Where's Priscilla? And Olivia is a sixth grader. Oh, wait, my checks are up. Oh, where'd Olivia's go? Oh, okay. Oh, I was organized. Okay, where's Olivia? Okay. There's Olivia's. Olivia sorted out, I'm sorry.
That's your checks.
Right? Okay. Kayla Strong is from 8th grade. There you go. And then our 12th winner is Ava Lynn. So Ava Lynn is our youngest. So just a quick rundown on all of these students. Caitlin is our oldest winner tonight. She's from Bonnie Lake High School. And Ava Lynn is our youngest from Crestwood. Shockingly enough, the rest are from Mountain View Middle School.
Oh, wow.
So they did come in from a variety of schools, so thank you everyone for participating. And if we can get all of the winners to carefully weave up in front of the dais, we'll have all the council stand up so we get a picture of all of the winners. That would be great. And thanks everyone for participating and being a part of it.
Oh, no.
That's what I do.
I think.
We just asked them the same question.
Yes.
Can you stand up?
Hey, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, big smile. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Good job.
Hey.
All right, seeing as there is no public hearing, this is our time for citizen commentary. Citizens, this is your time to address the council on city business. You have 5 minutes if you wish to approach the dais. You state your name and address for the record, please.
Council, I'd like to hold a recess until everybody's cleared.
Mr. Decker, will this be an adult-only conversation, or? Yeah, I know.
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that. Council, Deputy Council, Mayor. I'd like to live Dan Decker at 201 70th Street East, Money Lake, Washington. I heard the mayor wants a city attorney. I believe city attorney works for the mayor, city not for the council. Remember, one important fact is you, the council, create all laws in the city. No law can happen without a majority vote of the council. If the city has a city attorney, that attorney works not for you, but the mayor. You could change the role of the city attorney by law and have the city attorney work only for the city council. Yes, the council can change city law unless there's a state RCW that says you can't. Remember, it takes a quorum to create anything in a city and a supermajority to override a veto. Quorum is, as you know, 4 of you. A supermajority is 5 over 65%, which 5 of you comes up to approximately a little over 70%. I mean, the city attorney must work solely for the city, solely for the city council and for the city, wherein the council is the legislative branch of the city government. You create all city law, and it wouldn't be harmful for the city to have an attorney that works for the council. The council can do anything lawful as long as the council works as a unit of one. Hopefully, the council will work as a unit of one for the best interest of the state federal constitution. Oh, I'm not supposed to, well, I guess I'm supposed to do anything I want to as long as I don't end up in jail for it. But I just want to know about this 560,000. What is that about? And I'd like to have that to the people, not in executive session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Decker. Okay, do we have anybody else? We go to the order. All right, seeing no one approach, time for correspondence, and I don't believe we have any correspondence unless we do have some. Okay. Next would be committee reports. Could we hear from the Finance Committee, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee met, we haven't reported since our last time, so we met on the 10th and right on the 10th, we had a personnel update, business and action items, approval of meeting notes, and we had an open discussion on the rental house on 89th and a grant application for a permanent cover on the stage from North Park. And then today we had our updates as well, staff update. We have a hire letter out for one, a receipt of applications for a permit technician, HR manager, maintenance worker 3, network specialist, police officer, public works seasonal laborers, and we have several upcoming retirements. Our business action items were the public safety building lease, which will be on the consent agenda in the future, and there's interagency agreement between the Washington State Administrative Office and the courts, which is on the consent agenda for tonight. That's basically the money for services. Okay. I approved our notes, and that was our meeting.
All right, thank you, Deputy Mayor Carter. Next, we'll hear from Community Development Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Community Development Committee did meet on May 17th. Several items of business included the Public Works Services Project update. Should be done yet. Are we still looking? And what's the current? Moved a little, but soon.
The contractor's current schedule has us finishing in mid-July.
It's seen that drop.
We actually put down 400 yards of concrete last week. So that was a big week.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that. All kinds of interesting, fun delays nowadays with those things out there. So, yeah, that's been quite fun. Also, resolution for the public to the Lions for Kids. So, good shout out to all the nonprofits for being able to contribute to that effort. Folks getting and holding that up and helping that project go off. So,
And we give the city back some money for offset the extra cost in the room too.
yeah, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. That was great. The Lions that did that contribution. I think all the supporters out there. Also, we went out and would suggest the rejection of all the bids for the construction of some traffic curb improvements that we're looking at 410 and the side roads there. There's council may have seen some newer curbs out there that are kind of embedded and they're deeper in the asphalt. Those we're trying to do in some other areas, but the cost of regulations and traffic mitigation just drove the bids way off. So we're recommended that we reject all those bids and kind of go back at it the way it need be. We approved our minutes, and then we also had that conversation that I think some of you folks know about that was mentioned, that trail grant that we're pursuing. We haven't officially applied for it for Middle Creek. It does have matching funds associated with it, so there is an expectation if we got to the point that we actually had to put in for the grant at some point, that we'd have to be serious about allocating upwards of $2 million of funds to actually have matching funds available. So there will be a question at some point in time. You know, we don't want to get in that situation again where we went out for a grant and assume that we're going to come up with money and then have to turn back. There's opportunities to, I can touch more on that with my worries with the parks plan when we get there. Those are our items of business setting.
Oh, thank you, Councilman. What's the deadline? 30? May 30?
That's correct.
June 3rd. Oh,
May 30th.
okay. Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Public Safety last met on May 10th. We had a report from East Pierce Fire and Rescue. They talked about some of their awards. They were finally able to have a full award ceremony in person. They had 7 new firefighters starting in August and September, and we will be receiving an invitation to one of their open houses soon. We received a police report from Chief Jeter. I believe these are already cleared because this was 3 weeks ago, but we had Agenda Bill 2268, 2269, and 2273 that we moved to the consent agenda. One was for contract security at Allenwood Park. One was for a safety grant with the Click It or Ticket, and one was for an agreement with Swiss Park. We reviewed our minutes and approved them. We had a slight discussion on the boat launch parking, and we will have our next meeting on June 14th at 3:30 on the second floor upstairs.
Oh, right. Thank you, Councilmember Evans. One question: were the firefighters' pictures as good as the ones that we get to?
No.
All right, let's move to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
I'll move. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And Councilmember Clymmons, I saw your mouth move. Did you aye or oppose?
Aye.
Yes. Oh, I see it right there. Okay, thank you. I've seen the little flashlight clap.
Oh, there.
Okay, we have no committee well, we do have a full council issue now, and that would be item 2 that was moved from the consent agenda. And again, Madam Clerk, could you read that for us, please?
This is Agenda Bill AB 2264. The motion would be to authorize the issuance of a request for proposals for the preparation of a parks, trails, and open space plan.
So move.
Second. Okay, do we have any discussion on that? What would it be? Do it, okay. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, so I was wanting to kind of ask about this one a little bit there because kind of concerned that it's, something that's very needed to be done. But I'm worried mainly about the framework of it. Because it could be a spend upwards of $400,000-$500,000 for this plan, if that's what's required. That's required. It's a long-term plan that could last probably 10 years or so forth. Set the city up. That's again something we need to do. But I'm kind of wondering if it's a little bit too open or something, because there's some issues floating around there. The one I just mentioned, right, is the $2 million that we would have to contribute to trails, possibly grant fund matching available. Issues like what are we going to do currently with the WSU forest? Is this going to, is the council going to say, well, we have this plan and we have to wait to do anything for parks until the plan comes back, which we know is going to be over a year or something? Is that going to be an issue or not? You see that would be a definite stepping stone there. We're also talking about using, AARP money possibly for this because of these parks and what over the COVID issue, so that we kind of use the federal funds money for this, which would be a significant place to get the monies, but yet it's also monies that would be reduced from possible utility projects. And I know if I was given a priority of being just, recently elected to the city council, utility rates and the reduction thereof is one of my priorities. So I would be hesitant to want to move those monies from the utility projects into this particular thing. I also understand that, we have a $500,000 projected hole in the ongoing future possible budget identified that we'd be looking to fill with possibly, the B&O tax talked about, and increasing the tax to our small businesses by 20% in order to be able to fill that hole there. See, and he looked at me, I knew you would.
20%.
I did, because it's accurate, right? Because it's a 0.002 of 80, right? It's that trickery thing. Political. Cute, huh? It's only 0.002%, but it is an 80% increase in political.
Now it's 80%?
It
was 20.
20. Good. And see, numbers. Yeah, this percentage thing is just terrible.
Yeah, 202.
Right.
That one, you'll have to.
Anyways, so got that $2 million match coming up soon. So, how do these pieces fit together, folks, right? That's what I'm trying to get a hold of, because, we can go out with RFP, yes, which probably maybe, I don't understand how the pieces fit together. Because if it is, you're going out for this full-on RFP and you're going to have people submitting that, or that there's going to be several versions of that, right? And
Talks about bonding and performance bonds and payment bonds.
that you're prepared to pay $400,000 for this study, this plan? Yes. Committed to that,
Can't move forward in parks without it. I would.
Exactly. So how does it fit with the rest of the pieces, right? So it's like, yes, we're going to go ahead and pay for the parks plan for $400,000. We're going to take the money from the AARP funds. It's those pieces kind of thing that I don't know.
Well, we've already established we're $500,000 in the hole now. And
Well,
the
projected.
the ARPA, not the
Yeah.
AARP. Want to make sure we're not taxing the retired association.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah, so, and that was my contention with that. And all these pieces, so I don't know what to do with it, frankly. Raising the question.
And with the questions being raised, we get the commentary.
Again, this is simply an RFP. There is no cost to this. We can review what comes to us and decide if we wish to move forward. At that time, we can put a budgetary number with it along with the funding source for that. And we may all together say, none of this fits with what we believe is what is needed, just like you did with the sidewalks. And we can go back out for another RFP in the future, or change the scope as time allows. But again, voting yes to this tonight costs absolutely nothing. It is just a requirement for us to move forward on generating the parks plan. The budgetary costs come after we know what.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to make sure that, those issues are in the mind.
Yeah.
They're there.
We have Councilmember Fulton.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the issue here, but in here it states that reallocation of the proposed trailer parking shown on the current Allen York master plan as it is located within the wetlands. Sites to be evaluated for boat trailer parking include the conversion of the current ballpark 4, the current public works site, and the current decant facility site, all located within or adjacent to Allen York Park. So my concern is this has been put into this particular proposal, and how long is this going to take? Because
That's beyond the current plan to convert ball field for parking to boat trailer parking next year.
yeah, so I mean, can this be done? Can this particular item be taken out and accomplished by 2023? Because my fear is that we're going to have issues with parking again, even though we're going to have the new park done and we're going to have an additional 100, I wish it was 120,000 parking, but 120 parking spots. But then we're going to take that excess lot and just repave it
So
for temporary.
just to revisit that again, the plan has always been 2023 that what would be used for boat trailer parking is going to be the existing field for parking lot, which is getting chip sealed and then restriped this year as part of our other street projects that we have going out. So what is being talked about there is discussing more of the permanent solution for boat trailer parking. So for next year, you will have boat trailer parking available in the existing parking lot, which Councilmember Evans was talking about. So there's a distinction to be made there between what that's talking about and what we're going to be doing to provide parking.
And then possibly that could be even more additional parking for also for.
The permanent
But this
solution
would
that
be, this particular paragraph right here is focused on
the
the
permanent solution for boat trailer
reallocation
parking.
of the properties that are being utilized by the Public Works Department right now.
Correct, because there's questions there that have to be answered. Are we going to be demoing the Public Works facility? Are we going to be, what's going to happen with the decamp facility? Because currently, I think a portion of that property has a BMX track technically slated for it. So is that going to be a priority? These are things that the study that we're talking about would help us answer. Are those the directions that we want to keep going? These are all things that we have to consider, which is why we're doing the plan to begin with. We need to address those things. Is that still a vision? Is that still what you want to do with the park?
Perfect, thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
Councilmember
that.
Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This, I understand the money is going to be a challenge for us. It's not going to cost anything to do this. It'd be nice to know, get it out there, see what cost would be if we find a way, or if we need to make some changes to it, or want to actually do this plan ahead. I have talked to you about some very simple park projects. We can do those and not do this. In the meantime, this will give us an idea to get all of it pulled together in one spot. What's going to cost to get that plan put together? Like I said, we probably can't afford to do it. It'd be nice to know what's going to cost.
If anyone read through the proposal, there is requests in that proposal to come up with funding options as well. So not only will it be saying this is what the city thinks we should do for parks, but here are some grant opportunities we can address. Here is some other potential sources maybe we haven't talked about. So that is a side of this proposal that we will need in order to possibly not have to go into ARPA funds or general funds or ending fund balance for some of this stuff. They may come up with their own self-generating revenues that might offset some of those costs.
And following up on Councilmember Vulcan's concern, what typically would be the timeframe that we?
It was July 8th, I think, was the due date for the
RFP?
Yes, for the RFP.
So when we get approval to move this forward, typically we would send that out for anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. So I mean, we should have some idea of the number of consultant responses we're going to get by mid-July.
Okay, so nothing like towards the end of the year. Like,
Oh, no, we'll have it. I would imagine we'd have a consultant selected in July.
Not a plan.
Yeah, this is just consultant selection.
okay, Councilmember Ball.
It sounds like there's nothing but benefits here. All we're doing is going forward, creating an RFP, right? And then
Absolutely.
it doesn't cost any money. And then they're gonna put a plan in place because we don't have one that's updated. And then, as far as things are happening, if we have other projects that are going on, the RFP is not going to hinder other projects. It's gathering information so that we can actually have access to monies to the city through grants and things like that, right?
So, this is a request for proposals. And so in the state of Washington, architectural and engineering services selection is made based off of qualifications only. You can't select those services based on.
Yeah, we don't have that qualification,
So-
right? We don't have the RFP in place.
So we get the RFP out there, and then we select the best qualified consultant, and then we work on scope and fee. And it's at that point when we can come back and say, this is the scope and fee. We would actually move that through the process again for approval. If at that point the cost isn't palatable, then we can look at the scope and see, are there items here that we could consider not having a part of the plan at this point? So that's the process to get the consultant on board. And then, yes, really the point of the plan here is that it's a toolbox. Obviously, we're going to be taking a holistic look, not to use a word that's somewhat cliched anymore, but to look at our parks as a whole and really start to address these as what they are, which is a citywide program.
Well, it wouldn't be a hindrance to any kind of project. Let's say, we're moving through the process, getting information and things like that. And then we have a project that we want to attempt to complete, such as, okay, maybe boat trailer parking, we're going to do something different with it. Will this be a hindrance to something like that, timing wise?
I mean, ultimately, it's the council's just to move forward on whichever projects you all want to move forward on. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Councilmember Evans.
Just a point of clarification, the RFP is just for the contractors and the consultants.
Right.
But
That's why it doesn't cost money.
that doesn't,
Yeah.
but they won't be providing funding sources until
Right.
after the contract.
Right, but we'll still be able to make decisions based on information that they're gathering to be given to us as far as if we have to spend money for consultants and things like that, right?
Only after the contract award. This is just
Okay.
saying, we want you to do X, Y, and Z, and they're gonna
Yes.
say, it's gonna cost us this to do
Right.
that.
Okay,
Yeah, but there may be some potential funding offsets that they come up with that
okay,
we don't know.
okay, well, we will certainly find out.
Any further discussions? Oh, yeah, Councilmember Stan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, no, I'm definitely for this particular aspect of the plan, but there is that alternate piece that. Because this council, or majority of this council is well aware that, the new ball field was like 87% dead because there was no plan. Parks thing. So that's the main message to me. There are things that need to be installed. Boat trailer parking, some WSU pieces, or different things that, that hopefully, and we better, obviously screaming up and down when somebody has a decent idea behind those. The first thing, the last thing we should hear is that, oh, well, we don't know what the plan is yet for the entire park system. Right? So hopefully we can kind of coalesce somewhere and kind of meet in the middle somewhere, because this plan will take a year plus to be produced. You won't see it. None of us will be here when this plan comes back.
$800,000 in the bank, I think that'll be okay.
Exactly, right?
We're not building any parks between now and the end of that.
Yeah, and that brings you to that $2.2 million. The trail.
The matches.
The matching funds would have to be, I'd have to go back and take a look at the grant, but I think that would have to be, for the pet and bike program, would have to be available when funds become available in July 2020.
Yeah, but if we're gonna apply for that on the 30th, kind of thing, like we were talking in committee, it's kind of a sidebar story, but, we needed to be that, because there's some point there that you wanted to say, oh yeah, we make sure that this is possible.
You do not necessarily have to have it right
Right.
now to apply.
Right. But at some point in the process, we wanted to ensure that it would be available in the future should we get.
And I think that's what prompted Councilmember Evans' question last time about, well, at some point in this, it talks about a B&O tax fall through, or that we just decide that, you know, the issue of parks is dead, nothing's going to move forward, could we pull the application? And
We'd rather do that before we officially.
if it comes to that point, it would be preferable to pull the application before any award takes place. Yes.
Isn't the application done?
The application itself, we would be moving forward with putting that application forward to the Ped and Bike program on May 30th.
Okay, now do we have any further discussion on the matter at hand? Doesn't seem like we do. Okay, are we ready to vote? All in favor of AB 2264, motion of the City Council of the City of Bonnie Lake, Pierce County, Washington, authorizing the issuance of a request for proposals for the preparation of a parks, trails, and open space plan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I do have a green yes from Councilmember McClymonds, so this motion has passed. Okay, let's move on to oh no, we just went back. So we have no closed session tonight, so seeing no more business, we are adjourned. And for the record, this is the first time we've gotten out in